Stop reacting. 10 Stoic Lessons to Become Impossible to Provoke. Stoicism Philosophy. Introduction. Have you ever noticed how easily some people can control your emotions? One disrespectful comment can ruin your entire day. One person can ignore you, and suddenly you feel rejected. Someone can criticize you, and you spend hours replaying their words in your mind. They say something, and you react. They provoke you, and you lose your peace. They disrespect you, and you give them your attention. But what if you could reach a point where people simply could not control your emotional state? What if someone tried to insult you, manipulate you, anger you, or pull you into an argument, and you remained calm? That is not weakness. That is power. The Stoics understood something that most people never learn. You cannot control everything that happens to you, but you can control what happens inside you. Marcus Aurelius, Epictetus, and Seneca repeatedly taught the importance of mastering our judgments, reactions, desires, and emotions. And today, we're going to explore 10 Stoic lessons that can help you become almost impossible to provoke. Before we begin, if you value inner peace, emotional strength, self-discipline, and Stoic wisdom, subscribe to this channel and turn on notifications so you don't miss future lessons. Now let's begin. Lesson 1. Pause before you react. The first Stoic lesson is simple. Never give your first emotion the final word. When someone insults you, your first instinct might be anger. When someone disrespects you, you might immediately want to respond. When someone sends you a provocative message, you might feel the urge to type something back immediately. But Stoicism teaches you to create space between the event and your response. Someone says something. You pause. You breathe. You observe. Then you decide. That small pause can completely change your life. Because your first reaction is often emotional, while your second response can be intentional. Imagine someone insults you publicly. Your ego immediately says, defend yourself. Prove them wrong. Don't let them disrespect you. But the Stoic asks a different question. Does responding improve my situation? If the answer is no, silence may be more powerful than an argument. You don't have to respond to everything you feel. You don't have to explain yourself to everyone. And you certainly don't have to allow another person's behavior to dictate yours. Remember this. A reaction is automatic. A response is chosen. Train yourself to pause. That pause is where your power lives. Lesson 2. Not everything deserves your attention. One of the greatest forms of self-control is knowing what deserves your attention, and what doesn't. Your attention is valuable. Your time is valuable. Your emotional energy is valuable. Yet many people give these things away freely. They argue with strangers online. They obsess over people who don't appreciate them. They spend hours thinking about an insult someone made 5 days ago. They allow one negative person to occupy their mind while they are surrounded by good people. This is not strength. This is emotional slavery. The Stoics understood that life is limited. You don't have unlimited time. So why spend precious hours reacting to things that don't improve your life? Ask yourself, will this matter tomorrow? Will this matter next month? Does this deserve my emotional energy? Sometimes the strongest response is no response. Not because you are afraid. Not because you have nothing to say. But because you have decided that your peace is more valuable than winning an argument. You don't have to attend every battle you're invited to. Lesson 3. Stop trying to control other people. This is one of the most important Stoic principles. You cannot control other people's opinions. You cannot control their behavior. You cannot control whether they respect you. You cannot control whether they misunderstand you. You cannot control whether someone likes you. And the more you try to control these things, the more frustrated you become. Epictetus emphasized the distinction between what is within our control and what is not. Your choices are yours. Your judgments are yours. Your actions are yours. But another person's thoughts belong to them. Think about how much emotional suffering comes from trying to control other people. You want someone to apologize. They refuse. You want someone to understand you. They don't. You want someone to appreciate you. They don't. You want someone to behave differently. They won't. And you become angry because reality isn't following your expectations. The Stoic solution is simple. Control yourself instead. You cannot force someone to respect you. But you can decide how you respond to disrespect. You cannot force someone to appreciate you. But you can decide whether you continue giving them access to you. You cannot control their behavior. But you can control your boundaries. That is where your power begins. Lesson 4. Don't take every insult personally. Not every insult is actually about you. Sometimes people speak from insecurity. Sometimes they speak from jealousy. Sometimes they speak from frustration. Sometimes they simply have poor emotional control. And sometimes their opinion has nothing to do with reality. Imagine someone says, "You'll never succeed." Instead of immediately becoming angry, ask, "Is there truth here that I can learn from?" If yes, learn. If no, release it. That's emotional maturity. A wise person does not automatically accept every criticism. But they also don't automatically reject every criticism. They examine it. They separate truth from noise. You don't have to defend yourself against every opinion. Think about it. If someone says you're a terrible person, does repeating your defense make you a better person? Probably not. Your character is built by your actions, not by your ability to win arguments about your character. Let your behavior speak. Let your consistency speak. Let time reveal the truth. Lesson 5. Master your ego. Your ego wants to be right. Your ego wants to be respected. Your ego wants the last word. Your ego wants everyone to recognize your value. And when someone challenges your ego, you feel threatened. This is why some arguments become so intense. The subject isn't even important anymore. Two people simply want to prove that they are right. The Stoic asks, "Do I want to be right, or do I want to be at peace?" Sometimes you can win the argument and lose your peace. Sometimes you can prove your point and damage a relationship. Sometimes you can have the perfect comeback, but saying nothing would have been wiser. Not every opportunity to demonstrate intelligence needs to be taken. True strength is knowing that you don't need to prove your strength. When your ego becomes quieter, your mind becomes calmer. And when you no longer need validation from everyone around you, people lose one of the easiest ways to manipulate you. Lesson 6. Turn provocation into practice. This is where Stoicism becomes incredibly powerful. Instead of seeing difficult people as obstacles, see them as training. Someone annoys you? Practice patience. Someone insults you? Practice emotional control. Someone disagrees with you? Practice listening. Someone tries to manipulate you? Practice boundaries. Someone ignores you? Practice detachment. Suddenly, the difficult person becomes your teacher. They are giving you an opportunity to strengthen a part of yourself. Think about physical training. You don't become strong by lifting something comfortable. Resistance creates strength. The same principle applies mentally. Difficult situations create opportunities to develop emotional strength. So the next time someone tries to provoke you, don't immediately think, "Why is this person doing this to me?" Think, "What is this situation giving me the opportunity to practice?" Maybe patience. Maybe discipline. Maybe silence. Maybe courage. Maybe self-respect. That shift in perspective changes everything. Lesson 7. Don't give people the reaction they want. Some people provoke you because they want a reaction. They know exactly what buttons to push. They criticize you. They mock you. They make passive-aggressive comments. They deliberately bring up sensitive subjects. And then they watch you lose control. Why? Because your reaction gives them power. When someone discovers that they can control your emotions with a few words, they have discovered your weakness. But imagine the opposite. They provoke you. You remain calm. They become louder. You become quieter. They expect anger. You give them composure. They expect an argument. You give them silence. They expect you to chase. You walk away. Eventually, they realize, I can't control this person. That is emotional independence. But remember, Stoicism does not mean allowing abuse or accepting disrespect. You can walk away. You can establish boundaries. You can end conversations. You can remove yourself from toxic situations. Calmness does not mean weakness. Sometimes the calmest person in the room is the person with the strongest boundaries. Lesson 8. Accept that people will sometimes misunderstand you. One of the most exhausting things you can do is constantly try to make everyone understand you. You explain. Then you explain again. Then you defend yourself. Then you give more details. And somehow, they still misunderstand you. At some point you have to accept this. You will not be understood by everyone. And that's okay. Marcus Aurelius understood that we should focus on living according to virtue rather than constantly chasing approval. You know your intentions. You know your values. You know what you are trying to accomplish. If someone chooses to misunderstand you, you cannot always change that. Sometimes silence is better than another explanation. Let people believe what they want. Your responsibility is to live correctly, not to manage everyone's perception of you. You don't need to be understood by everyone. You need to understand yourself. Lesson 9. Walk away from unnecessary conflict. There is tremendous power in knowing when to leave. Leave the argument. Leave the pointless conversation. Leave the environment that constantly destroys your peace. Leave the need to prove yourself. Leave the desire to get revenge. Walking away is not always surrender. Sometimes walking away is the ultimate demonstration of self-control. Imagine someone tries to pull you into an argument. You recognize where it's going. Instead of participating, you say, I don't want to argue about this. And you leave. That's strength. You have refused to allow someone else to decide where your attention goes. Remember, you don't have to respond to every challenge. Some battles are won by refusing to fight them. Lesson 10. Build a mind that doesn't need external validation. The final lesson is perhaps the most important. If your emotional stability depends on other people, you will always be vulnerable. If people praise you, you're happy. If they criticize you, you're miserable. If they text you, you're excited. If they ignore you, you're anxious. If they approve of you, you feel valuable. If they reject you, you feel worthless. That is dependence. Stoicism teaches something different. Build your worth around your character. Ask yourself, am I disciplined? Am I honest? Am I courageous? Am I keeping my promises? Am I becoming wiser? Am I treating people with dignity? Those are questions you can actually control. External approval changes constantly. Today people may praise you. Tomorrow they may criticize you. Today someone may love you. Tomorrow they may leave. Today you may succeed. Tomorrow you may fail. But your character remains yours to build. When you become internally grounded, other people's opinions lose their power over you. You stop chasing approval. You stop begging for attention. You stop explaining yourself unnecessarily. You stop reacting to every little thing. And you become difficult to manipulate. The Stoic mindset. So let's bring all 10 lessons together. Pause before you react. Protect your attention. Stop trying to control other people. Don't take every insult personally. Master your ego. Use difficult people as emotional training. Don't give provocateurs the reaction they want. Accept that some people will misunderstand you. Walk away from unnecessary conflict. Build your self-worth from within. These principles are not about becoming emotionless. They are about becoming emotionally disciplined. You will still feel anger. You will still feel disappointment. You will still experience rejection. You will still have difficult days. Stoicism doesn't ask you to stop being human. It teaches you not to become a prisoner of your emotions. You can feel anger without becoming anger. You can feel fear without obeying fear. You can feel disappointment without destroying yourself. You can experience disrespect without abandoning your dignity. That is the goal. Final message. The next time someone tries to provoke you, remember this. They may control what they say. They may control what they do. They may create the situation. But they do not automatically control your response. That belongs to you. Your peace belongs to you. Your attention belongs to you. Your choices belong to you. Your character belongs to you. And once you understand that, you become incredibly difficult to manipulate. So stop reacting to everything. Stop giving everyone access to your emotions. Stop allowing temporary situations to steal permanent peace. Take a breath. Observe. Think. Choose. And then act according to the person you want to become. Because the strongest person isn't always the loudest person. Sometimes the strongest person is the one who could react, but chooses not to. Master your mind, and you become harder to provoke. Master your emotions, and you become harder to manipulate. Master yourself, and other people's behavior loses its power over you. If this message helped you, subscribe to the channel for more Stoic wisdom, practical philosophy, and lessons for building an unshakable mind. And remember, you don't need to control the world. You only need to control yourself.